This is everything I'm bringing with me for an unknown amount of time in Central America. Right, this is the Osprey Farpoint 55 litre. Bag is actually split into two different bags. You have this like main big compartment here, that's 40 litre, and then you have this smaller day bag that actually detaches as well, and that's 15 litres. Right, I've never backpacked before, but from all of the videos that I watched, this seemed to be just the more sensible option, because any videos that I saw was people had a 40 litre bag, and then inside the 40 litre bag was this like really like flimsy like foldable 15 litre bag that they were just like throwing into the bottom of their bag, and if they needed to use it they pulled it out. Towards this you can pull off and you can keep like all of your like valuable stuff in it, especially going through the airport and things like that. That just made way more sense, if you get me. Whether they're going to be attached a lot of the time or not, I don't know. Probably not, because it is quite big. Chances are I'll just be walking around with this, and I'll only really have this with me when I'm like in transit. That's the plan anyway. Like I said, never done it before, so it's going to be a learning experience, but that's the plan. This is like completely open, there's no like divisions in it or anything, it's just one big, like basically like a suitcase, except for this little mesh bit here. That's the only sort of division in the bag. I have purchased packing cubes because I feel like that's going to help break up the bag, if you get me. Okay, so the idea is to not have like a checked bag that goes underneath. The idea is to bring everything onto the plane with me. Now I only have 8 kilo to bring on. If they have to put it under and I have to check it, on the bottom here there's Velcro, and you pull this out, tidy away all your like straps and things like that, zip it up, and now like all your straps are like nice and tidy and nothing's gonna get caught, nothing's gonna get broken, and that's just, if you have to check in the bag, you can. Now it's like a functioning suitcase as well. I already have my stuff all like sorted into packing cubes, so I'll talk you through that now. Right, this is everything that's going into the big bag, and because there's no like division in that bag, I got compressible packing cubes. When you first put your clothes in, they're really thick, and then you have like an extra zipper along the middle, and you just work your way around. This one's grand because there's a bit of room left in it, but this one was a pain because it was so thick. And then they're nice and thin. Right, so what's actually in these? So I have 9 t-shirts in here, I think it's 9. I have 8 pairs of socks and 8 pairs of jocks. I have 5 pairs of shorts, I think I took out a pair. Yeah, 5 pairs of shorts. This is a 20 litre dry bag, I think, and then inside this is a smaller 5 litre dry bag. Just in case I'm going from place to place and it's raining, I want somewhere to put my laptop and all my like cables and electronics and stuff, and I don't want to be worrying about them getting wet, because I've seen videos of bags up on top of like buses and stuff, and the last thing I want is all my electrical stuff and my valuable stuff to be absolutely saturated on top of a bus. As well as that, I have my controller and like power station, I guess, my battery holder for the drone. They're just in this, it's meant to be a cables bag, but they fit in grand, so I'm using it for that. Maleron, these things cost me a fortune. I will talk about the hidden costs of a trip like this at the end, but these cost me like €250 for like 5 months worth. People are probably going to tell me that I can get them out there, but I couldn't find like a concrete answer online, and I've taken these before and I know that I don't get bad side effects from them, so I was like, oh, better safe than sorry. I don't know, maybe it was stupid, but I'd rather have them than be worrying, and at least then I can tell ye if they have them over there or not. So yeah. And then also going in my big bag is rain jacket, because I'm hoping to not really need it. Right, so that's everything that's going in that bag. Let's pack it in. Right, I already had this packed and then I unpacked it for the video, so now I'm just gonna put everything back the way it was. So I had like my shorts in at the bottom, then I had my t-shirts here, I had my socks on top of my t-shirts, I had all my lovely expensive Malarone in there, jacket, dry bags, and my controllers just sit on top. And then you close it up. Okay, so the zippers have little like holes in them, so you can run like a padlock or something through them. So I have 2 padlocks there if I ever feel the need to lock my stuff. Right, so that's the big bag all done. Let's move on to the small like day bag. Right, so like I said, 15-litre day bag has 2 pouches on the front as well as like a little loop. I think that's for the straps on the 40-litre bag to go through, so you can have it all nice and tight and all in together. So you have this like front little pouch here. I don't know, headphones maybe, or it's not that big, so maybe like AirPods or something you want to get at nice and easy. Keys, actually, I think that's what it's for, keys. Then yeah, that's all the sort of outside pouches. You open it up, you have a laptop place there. I will be bringing my laptop. And then you have a separate little like mesh zipper area, and I just have a notebook in there and a few pens. Other than that, there's no like division, there's no like separate little front pouch or anything like that. It's just one open bag, I guess. It's basically a school bag. I will be putting most of my valuable stuff that I'll be bringing through the airport into this. As well as that's probably the heaviest stuff, so at least if they try and weigh my big 40-litre bag, I'll have all the heavy stuff in this, because you're allowed your 8 kilo to go over your head, and then you're allowed like a small little like carry-on bag to go in at your feet. Right, this is everything that I'm going to be putting into that little day bag for when I go to the airport. This is my little documents holder, so passport, my Tropical Medical Bureau, my like vaccine card for all the like tropical diseases like typhoid and Hep A and V and all that. Receipts for my Malarone, just in case they ask questions. They've probably seen it 100 times, but just in case they say anything. I'm also throwing a few of them in, just worst case scenario that bag goes missing, at least I'm not without malaria tablets. I have my drone batteries, thumb screws for the GoPro, and this like holds SD cards. It's waterproof as well, so that's pretty handy. Don't have to worry about any of them getting damaged. Small little liquids bag, just a small bit of sun cream, toothpaste, insect repellent, and it's an aftershave balm. This is also my little like solid toiletries thing. I have connected here is like a bar of Dove soap. This is actually really cool. It's like a mini little dry bag. I just have that clipped on. So yeah, it has a bar of Dove soap in it. I brought a second bar of Dove soap, toothbrush with a little cap on it because you don't know where you're going to be leaving that in hostels. So I've never used this before. It's like solid roll-on. I don't know what it's going to be like. It's like stick deodorant. So we give that a go. Baby powder, and then Mortilium for like nausea and vomiting. Antihistamines. I don't have hay fever or anything like that, but I mean, they're not really taking up much room, so I may as well bring them just in case. And as well as that, Imodium. Oh, and a comb. You never know when you want to look presentable. I have this like GoPro clip mount, and then a few carabiners. I don't know if they're going to be useful, but I have one attached to a speaker at the minute, so if I need to like hang it up beside a pool or getting into the shower, things like that. This is my backup like floaty mount, I have the GoPro on a new bear grip at the minute, which is unreal. This is like gonna be one of the most important little pouches. This has all my cables and universal adapter. This thing is pretty cool. This is like, instead of bringing your big fat Mac like power brick, you can bring this little one here. It's like a 30-watt Anker power brick, USB-C as well. Yeah, cutting down on a bit of bulk. My 4TB memory. I also have like extra propellers for the drone, a little screwdriver there to put them in. Even though I have this lovely little pouch here, I'm bringing like a load of these Velcro strips as well, because it's just so handy having them tying away like cables that are always getting in the way. So I have them there as well. And yeah, then my laptop is going to be in this. Because that, like, even though it is a laptop sleeve, like, it's right at the back and there's no protection whatsoever. At least here there's somewhat of a, like, a cushion if it gets thrown around the place. Right, so chances are I'm going to have to pull out the drone because it has a camera on it. Just coming through customs and that. And then my liquids as well, so I'll leave the two of them for the top. That I'll probably have on me, so I probably won't be putting that in the bag. But what will be the laptop into the laptop sleeve. Like that. I suppose all my solid toiletries can go to the bottom then. They're going to be sort of the stuff that I'm going to be using the least. Might need the toothbrush in the airport or that, but. And then my Mortilium, and then that in there, liquids, and the drone. Have a little speaker then as well. I'll probably show that in there. Right. And again, has the little loops up at the zips, so you can run a padlock through them. And that's the outer bag packed. I will leave a link for as many of those items as possible in the description below. So if you want to check any of them out or have a look-see, yeah, I'll leave the links in the description. Okay, I'm going to talk about the hidden costs of a trip like this. So it's perfectly fine, you plan your route or what you want to do, and then you look into like the entry requirements, obviously now at the minute because of COVID and stuff like that. So for me, I got the Johnson, so I needed a booster. I already had that got, so that was okay. Then it comes down to other vaccines. So travel vaccinations are fucking expensive is what they are. They're so expensive. You don't need them, they're not mandatory. I think the only one that's mandatory in some countries is yellow fever, and that's like one of the cheaper ones. I think it was like €30, €35. But I already had a few of them. I actually only had to get them boosted. So I had to get a typhoid booster and then a Hep A and B booster. But I have to get my bloods done next month to make sure that I'm immune from Hep A and B. I don't really understand that, because surely I've gotten the 3 doses, I don't need to get my bloods done. Oh, I don't know. But yeah, I was recommended to go get my bloods done to make sure that I am immune from it. Which is very annoying, because that's going to be getting your bloods done in another country and trying to get them to email you the result. I suppose that doesn't sound that hard, but yeah, it's just another thing that you have to like keep in your mind. Like, it's just annoying. But yeah, yellow fever, the only one that's mandatory in some countries. Yeah, so all this stuff is up to you, but I decided to get it. I think altogether to get my boosters and the yellow fever, it was like €160. The malaria tablets, they're like there was like €250 for like 5 months worth. Granted, you don't need them everywhere, but by the time I come out of an at-risk area, you have to take them for 7 days after leaving that area. I'm going to be going into a new place that's got malaria, so it just made sense to get the 5 months worth. But yeah, a big expense you weren't really planning for, as well as that little things like a bag, like €100 for the bag. I'm bringing most of the clothes I already had, is like shorts from the gym and just t-shirts that I have. So I'm flying into Panama City, so that's quite developed. So I'm interested to see what the shops are like. Like, would it have been worth my while not buying anything and just flying over and getting everything when I get there? That way I'm not running the risk of, is my bag too heavy? Have I got everything that I need? Did I need to get the malaria tablets here? Like, they're questions that I couldn't find answers for online, which is annoying, but look, that's why you go, isn't it? Because if you could find out everything online, you wouldn't bother leaving your bedroom. I'm trying to think of other hidden costs, and I think they're the big ones. Your vaccinations and your malaria tablets. If you need a visa, I am Irish, so I have an Irish passport. Very few countries that I need visas for. Any of them in South America, from what I read, you can either travel for like 60 or 90 days without anything, or you just fill it out at the border. That was my understanding anyway, but we will figure that out as we go. And if I have to fill out paperwork, I have to fill out paperwork. There's no big rush. What else costs money? Insurance. That's it, insurance. I was looking at like all these like insurance companies that you watch videos and people like are like, oh, they're linked the insurance company underneath, and like it's like €300 for insurance and stuff like that. I went with Blue Insurance in the end, but I was on their website and it's like annual coverage, like single trip, and then like backpacker. So I was like, oh, what does the backpacker one say? And it was like €317, and I was like, what is the difference between that and getting like annual insurance? Yeah, I rang up like Blue Insurance and I was like, oh, I want to take out an annual policy with you. And she was like, oh, perfect. What sort of policy would you like? Do you want Europe? Do you want America, Canada, or do you want the world? And I was like, yeah, can I get the world? And then you have to include the USA and Canada. So I was like, yeah, can I get that please? And she was like, oh, perfect. And in order to get into Costa Rica, you need like 50,000 worth of expenses and then 2,000 for lodging because of COVID. So I was like asking her about that, and she never said anything about, oh, you're a backpacker, you'll have to take out backpack insurance. So I read through it and it's like 20 million in medical expenses. It was like €100 in the end rather than 320. So just something to keep in mind, I guess, when you're taking out an insurance policy. I don't know what the difference is. I couldn't find a difference. I put down winter sports as well, just in case, you know, I get an impulse decision and decide to go skiing in Switzerland and I'm finished in Central America. So I'm gonna be transparent. So I had like $5,000 saved, and I was like, oh, perfect. Like that's enough money to do me for like whatever, 6 months or that. And then you go along and you start buying stuff for the trip, and like I was saying, like I got the bag for Christmas and a few things like that, but the likes of the insurance, the likes of the vaccinations, and a new passport as well, that's like €150. Yeah, there's a lot of expenses, and then like your budget all of a sudden becomes like 4,500, and you're like, oh, well, I may stay working now for another little bit until I get back up. So if I was doing it again, I would work out, like, list out all the things I could possibly need, and then whittle it down to, right, these are the things that I absolutely need. So your likes of your health insurance, your vaccinations if you decide to get them, malaria tablets if you decide to buy them. I don't know, they could be cheaper abroad, but I'm not sure. Basically what I'm trying to say is, don't skimp out on the things that you need, like the things that are going to protect you when you're over there. Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. So they're the one bag, but split into two, and I weighed it. It's like 7 kilo. Well, I stood on the scales and I put that on my back. I don't know how accurate that's going to be, but I was looking at like 7 kilo. So then that was with this off, obviously, because that's going to be going at my feet. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they don't actually weigh it and they just let me throw it up. But again, we'll worry about that if it happens. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I am extremely excited for this trip. Cheers.